whatever, whatever it takes.
This should be on now. Oh, I can hear myself.
Hey, hey.
All right, awesome. Ooh.
15 seconds. Getting nervous yet?
Oh yeah, I was nervous 20 minutes ago.
You've got airtime though, haven't you?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Hello, Av Geeks and STOL Freaks. My name is Cam Walton, and you are joining me on a special National STOL broadcast. We are in Paradise City at Sun and Fun 2025, the 51st Sun and Fun. We're going to talk to a few different people who are involved with National STOL, including some pilots, and we're going to have some interviews throughout the week. So starting off today, I'm talking to Chad Hall, who is a STOL competitor. First competition was last year?
Yeah, at our home competition at Music City STOL, which we get to host as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are a STOL competitor and the host of Music City STOL.
I am now. In 2023, I was just a STOL host.
Okay.
And I figured I might as well go ahead and jump in.
Awesome.
And be a part of it too. So.
Yeah. So tell us what it's like. Actually, let's start from the very beginning.
Yeah.
How did you come across National STOL?
Well, so this really kind of goes back. I've been interested in aviation my whole life and just went the normal route. I don't do it professionally. I've just done this for fun, and so I got into flying early, flying 172s and moving up, and ended up partnering in a Bonanza and flying, getting my ratings and everything. And it was great, but it was like there was, you kind of get into okay, this is my routine now. I've got to accomplish my dreams, and I'm living the life. And then in 2017, I believe it was at Oshkosh, they had the Valdez STOL competition that they did, and I went and watched that. Not many people were there, and I saw these like real Alaska bush pilots out there landing these tailwheel airplanes in ridiculous distances. And I don't know what it was, but there was something about that. Like, I was just hooked. Like, the light switch just went off, and I was a STOL fan. And so really everything up until that point is just me kind of being a fanboy and figuring out how to get myself involved more and more in STOL. But as it started progressing and National STOL came out, I was obviously following it, watching it, just being involved, sharing it with our local flying community in Middle Tennessee. And my background in my business is in broadcast television. And so when I saw the streams, I thought, man, these guys are really doing a really good job. And there was a couple of streaming technical problems. I reached out to the folks and said, hey, I got a solution that might help. So really the introduction to National STOL came as a business relationship, helping them with their stream a little bit. And then I just sort of took that opportunity to say, hey, how can I be involved a little bit more? Can I help? And so, yeah, it all started as a fan, and then I sort of just threw it out there. I said, man, if you guys ever want to come to Nashville and do one of these events, this would be a great place. We probably have a lot of people that would be interested in competing here locally. And so I got a call in early 2023 that one of the locations wasn't able to host that year, and said it's in August. I think this was around February or March. And they said, can you put together an event, and you want to host it? And I said, sure, yeah, why not? Why not? So anyway, so we had to throw together an event from scratch. And I don't do this I don't put together events and everything. So literally we had to come up with it. And my wife, who is off screen here, was very instrumental in that. We run several businesses together. And so we're already a pretty good team when it comes to organization and putting things together. So we formed a committee of really just people that I had worked closely with at the airport that had different experiences in business and so forth, and just said, hey, this is a big challenge. How can we do this? And we just did it. And the great thing about Music City STOL was that we had a really great support team of people, not only at our local airport. We have an airport authority that just got behind what we're doing, but the city and the county both were just looking for something to really highlight, to get people involved with in the area. We have a lot of people moving from out of state into our area, and so they're kind of looking for like that community thing. And I should add too, without getting too long-winded here, but we had already been doing a EAA community breakfast where we said we're going to open this up to the general public. We're not just going to have guys flying in and just cater to pilots. We want to bring in families and young people and inspire people to be involved in aviation, right?
Absolutely.
So we had already been building up that community within our community of non-flying public. We have about 400 people that come every month to our breakfast, so it was already kind of a big thing. So National STOL was just a natural progression of the next step and kind of building GA, building excitement, and just doing something the community can rally around.
That's awesome.
So that was how I got involved and started hosting. And last year was year 2, and it went great. And now we're looking forward to October this year to do it again.
Yeah. What's the airport identifier?
Yeah, it's KX X-Ray November X-Ray. It's Music City Executive. It's just about 35 miles northeast of Nashville. Yeah. It's an incredible airport, great people. So if you're transitioning or traveling the area, you should definitely just come check it out. It's just, it's Nashville without being into the rigmarole and the chaos of the close Nashville airports. So definitely a great place to come by and visit.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. I had the first year of the competition, 2023, I believe it was. I had a great time there. I was shooting photos and watching all the traffic come in. We had an awesome flyover, actually, for the national anthem. Like, all the guys had gotten together, and there was a T-34. Someone on the field has a T-34, maybe?
Yes, we have all kinds of aircraft there. We have a group of pilots that do formation flying. They do regular practicing, and again, everything in our community is pretty inviting. They're always looking for people. That might be maybe a next step for me at some point. But they get out and practice all the time when the weather's nice, and they do community events. So if there's like a special event, football games or funerals or something like that to honor people, they always look at the opportunity to fly over. So it was a no-brainer that those guys were going to do our flyovers. And they did it both years. I'm sure they're going to be back again this year doing
That's
it.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, especially for that T-34 Mentor. It's a really cool airplane. So speaking of airplanes, what are you going to be competing in?
So again, I think getting into this, I was a big STOL fan, and I never thought I would be a STOL pilot. Like, I flew a Bonanza, I fly an F-33 Bonanza, and I'm just like, well, that's never going to happen in a Bonanza, but I can still be a fan and enjoy it. But our hangar wait list in anywhere in Nashville is super long, and I had been on a waiting list for about 7.5 years. So conveniently, the month after our inaugural STOL event in 2023, my hangar number came up. And they said, hey, if you want the hangar still, you got to put a plane in there in 90 days. You got 90 days to fill it. And I'm like, I'm going to fill it with something. Yeah, count me in. So I had to scramble, and at that point, it was pretty easy. I'm like, I got to get a STOL plane. So I looked at some stuff that I thought maybe would be in my budget, and I had flown a Carbon Cub, a Decathlon. It's not a great STOL plane, but the Citabria is just kind of what I was thinking of. Yeah. But man, there's just something about a Cub variant that just really spoke to me. Yeah. And I had seen Huskies at Oshkosh and Sun and Fun and liked them, but I found one online, and just something about it just spoke to me. I like the fact that it's certified. I'm not a builder. I don't trust myself, so I like knowing that I have a certified airplane. Yeah. It's a fast airplane for what it is, and I couldn't be happier. I bought one sight unseen and flew out to Aviation in Colorado, or in Wyoming, in Afton, Wyoming. Met the incredible folks there at Aviat, and made me feel like just part of their family, and flew it home. And man, I just pinch myself every time I fly that thing. So I'm still learning. I don't consider myself, a skilled STOL pilot yet, but it was enough to compete in the rookie class without hurting myself or anybody else. So I'm going to stick in the rookie class for a little while and keep building hours. But I'll be in my it's a 2000 A1B Husky, and I just think it's the greatest plane. I'm just having a blast. I'm looking forward to compete for fun. I'm not going to be a real competitor for now, but maybe 2025 or 6 or 7. Yeah, look out! I might be coming after some folks.
Yeah.
But for right now, I'm just going to have fun.
So is that a stock Bravo model, or do you have some cool little mods?
Yeah, the problem though with modding is that it's a certified airplane, so you have to STC anything that you do on that, and it's pretty limited. So but already out of the box, it's got an 0360. It's a 180 horse. I've got a Trailblazer 80-inch Hartzell composite prop, so it's real lightweight, pulls hard, and I've got the 26 Goodyears, and the only mod I've done to the airplane is put an Acme Aero Stinger on the back of it, which has been really nice. And so, I'm not going to be one of these guys with the hidden secrets in there. I'll play by the rules, and I don't trust myself to do anything, and I'm going to always follow the rules. So yeah, it's pretty much stock with just a few little components here and there, but it gets the job done as it is.
So there's no flux capacitor?
No flux capacitor yet. If the STC comes out for it, then yeah, okay. I might be on the list for that.
That's awesome. So have you talked to any of the people in the field that are looking forward to the competition? Like what can we expect from Music City STOL this year? Yeah,
so I mean, our folks love the event. They love the fact that we have a growing aviation community. We have it's not really backcountry. We'll call it a redneck backwoods country. We can call it that. That's forming in Middle Tennessee, and this community, literally as we speak, we're just growing it and trying to figure out, hey, we got to make something out of this. We got to grow it. So everybody on our field and the surrounding area is really excited. They're there to help out. Even a lot of our groups like the Civil Air Patrol, the Nashville 99s, they're always there volunteering, helping out. So everybody's really excited about having National STOL back. And so, yeah, people just are ready to get behind it and jump in and help any way we can. But as far as what's coming up, I mean, this last year we tried to bring in a little more music, and I think it went pretty big. We had a big stage, it was really loud. So we may, we're going to keep the music part of that and just make it a fun festival, maybe do it a little differently this year. But it's going to be Nashville, it's going to be airplanes, it's going to be good food, and you're going to be treated like family there. It's a good place to be.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to all of that, especially the food. I've missed
Oh
Nashville
yeah, we got
so
good
much.
food. We need to try to get Hattie B's to be a sponsor and bring in some hot chicken. And they're not the original. Actually, I'm a Prince for Nashville people, hot chicken fans. Prince's hot chicken is the OG, but Hattie B's is what everybody goes up. But we got to get some hot chicken this year. Maybe for the pilot's dinner we can do some hot chicken. You think that's a good idea? Maybe after the competition.
Maybe after
the competition is probably a little safer.
Absolutely.
But yeah, hot chicken. Yeah, I got to make a note of that.
All right, Chad. Well, it was great talking to you.
Yeah, Cam.
Yeah, we're looking forward to Music City STOL happening and being on the field and everything. I wasn't able to be there last year, but this year I'll be there. So
I'm going to count on. I'm going to hold you to it. Got to be there.
All right.
Thanks, Cam.
Yeah, no problem at all, Chad. So that was Chad, and we're going to go to commercial, and then we'll have Jerry and Austin Clemens after that.
Go Husky. Nice. That was fun.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Don't get your water there.
We're live.
So now what? Guess we got one commercial. All right, and we're back. So right now I have right next to me is Austin Clemens, who is a fan favorite, I would say, especially with you with the husky, with the snarling husky on the tail.
Yep, it's the Mad Dog.
It's the Mad Dog, yeah. Man, it's been awesome getting to see you fly from the very first STOL, like all the way to now. Like everything's been super cool. So tell us what you've been doing in the off season to hang out. I mean, I know you've been hanging out, but what you've been doing in the off season to prepare you for this season of National STOL.
Just fly a lot. For the off season, basically, just go beat up the pattern every sunset. Just make as much noise and get comfortable with your airplane.
Yeah.
Know your limits.
Heck yeah. So when you're beating up the pattern, like, do you have like a line painted on your home field, or what are you doing for distance measuring?
Oh, I don't know. There's no distance measuring. All I know is my runway lights are 150 feet apart. So that's the only distance measuring I got.
Okay.
Jerry will get pretty crazy and put a line on the ground and a tape measure, and he'll go all out. But
oh yeah, we put the flags up and everything in my yard.
Okay. The real flags.
Yeah. So we'll put flags up, and then at the 75-foot mark, the 100 mark, and the 125 mark, we use. Have you ever seen those rope chocks?
Yeah.
You know, so rope chocks, they're multi-purpose. We can use them as markers for length. So because you don't have a bunch of volunteers that are going to stand out there and tell you where you're.
Yeah.
So I use the rope chocks in 3 different places. And if I go past that 125 foot, it's not worth it. We'll just do that again.
It never happened.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So the rope chocks, so you're saying they have multiple purposes. We're talking
do.
about the big yellow
things
that wrap around the tires.
They're amazing.
Yeah. I remember seeing them at STOL. I think they were there and they were selling them, and like I had questions, and I saw them in like an application, and they're pretty nice.
Yeah, and I've got 31s on my Husky, and the guy at Rope Chalk says, well, with 31s you're going to need this long of a rope, and you just throw that thing around that big tire, and it just wraps itself around, and then you just.
Heck yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. So the Clemens family, the both of you. So I mean, what is it like competing against family? Like, what is there any I don't know, is there any like banter like before that's like you're losing
I'm rooting
today?
for him.
Okay, you're rooting for him.
yeah.
So
Austin, what about you? Like, are you rooting for your uncle, or are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Root for him.
Is
well,
it?
it's I don't care if it's family or friends or whatever, but that's the beautiful thing about National STOL is that it's you develop these wonderful relationships that the guy that you want to beat so bad, you work so hard to beat this guy, but then if he beats you, you're still happy for him.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just because you end up, these relationships that you develop in this, everyone seems to want to help everyone else.
Yeah.
And, whether it's, if a guy does something that's unsafe, you've got all of these other guys out there that are going to call you out, and they're going to protect that person because there's that much care. And, you see a guy that maybe needs to improve on something, then you've got this whole group of people that help you do better.
Yeah. So
and that's one of the coolest things that I've seen about this organization is that it's a whole group of people that want to help each other. So
yeah. So it's one
pretty
big
nice.
family. Yeah.
There's not much begrudging in the National STOL. It's like, what can we do to help this guy?
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's something that's really important to, it's really important, but it also adds value to you coming to the competitions. Like, sometimes you hear people say like, oh, why am I paying money to compete? And it's like, well, you're not really paying money to compete. First off, you're getting indoctrinated into a family.
Oh, absolutely.
That's absolutely awesome. And you're getting all instruction from the best in the world at STOL flying and at backcountry flying, and with all the equipment that we see in all the magazines and everything. So, I mean, like, I think that there is a huge value to coming to national STOL competitions, especially the camaraderie and the hangouts afterwards, but also all the information that you learn from each pilot and how they fly.
Yeah. And you know, if you're anxious about coming to a competition and you've got fear like, oh my God, I'm not good enough to do that, you know, I think the best thing for someone to do first is come volunteer. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I came as Uncle Jerry.
Yeah.
And you know, I was in charge of making sure that Austin eats and drinks.
Yeah.
And you know, provide shelter. I brought the camper, and he did his thing, and I got to know people there, and I got to help and volunteer, and you learn a lot about the organization by just coming and just being a volunteer. You don't have to just show up as a pilot. You can show up as a volunteer and then get to know and kind of figure things out.
Absolutely.
And then if you want to step up and do some flying, there's all kinds of support there as well.
Heck yeah.
That's a great way to put it. He was my support crew, and then he knew everybody here, and everybody kept asking him, why don't you do National STOL? So then he bought a Husky, and then at home, I was just flying with him, and I was like, watch this. Showed him a short landing, and he was just blown away. Like, I didn't even think that was possible, landed that short, and it was aggressive, the landing I did, but because he kind of figured it out on his own.
Yeah.
Well, the first Husky I bought, it was just Winter Haven, which is just not too far from here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I sent Austin down to get it. And then that was when Doug Jackson had
The second National STOL event.
National STOL event, which was here. And he flew that Husky that he just picked up for me here and won that event with that Husky. My boy.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I only flew the airplane like 10 miles, whatever, from Winter Haven or where was it? It was like 10-mile flight.
Winter Haven.
It was really short.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I was here for that actually.
Yeah.
The Central Florida Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
and then
awesome.
I see this trophy. He sends me a picture of the trophy in front of this Husky that I just bought.
That's awesome.
Anyway, that's pretty cool.
Heck yeah. So what can we expect from you guys this season? Are there any secret mods that have happened to the Huskies or
No, not really.
nothing? Just some good beta action.
Well, you know, I'm hoping to maybe lose a few pounds.
Okay.
That might help.
Yeah.
Mod.
Yeah, that is the ultimate STOL mod, is losing a few pounds.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to do when you show up and there's good food and
Oh, I know.
yeah, especially, I mean, you know, you can't.
Wade and I went out this morning and bought 4 dozen donuts. And brought those in. Just
Yes,
to
all
encourage
those.
Everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you gotta fatten everybody else up while you're losing the weight.
Well, I had one too. So
I mean, you know,
Gotta do what you gotta do.
it's fun and fun. We can cheat.
yeah.
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 Heck yeah. So, how many years have you been on the circuit, Jerry?
How many years of what?
Have you been on the circuit?
Last year was really my first official year of doing it all year long.
Okay.
So, you know, I did Jennings prior to this, and that was my first one. I think that was a couple of years, 3 years ago. I
Okay.
did
Yep.
one.
Yep.
Yep.
But going around the circuit, I hadn't done that before until last year.
Okay. Heck yeah. And then
So
Austin.
last year was fun.
Yeah, last year was a lot of fun.
So I missed Doug's first National STOL, which was in Gainesville, Texas. I missed that one because of weather, but during prime COVID, they had the Sun and Fun in December here.
Yep.
I think it was Sun and Fun, but it was the Florida Classic. That was the
Yep.
first one. That was the first event I did here, and I won first place, and I really had to work for it because I was going first, a nose wheel carbon cup, but that's what really made me get hooked in the STOL world is.
Yeah, so five years on the circuit.
I think it was 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, I missed the first one. I came to the second Central Florida Classic in 21.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's always been a blast here. And
Yeah, absolutely. So what else? I mean, what are y'all doing this week here at Sun and Fun? Like, is there any I don't know, like, are you talking to any of the vendors, maybe getting some sponsorships, like?
Well, I heard Clemens Insurance, but they might sponsor us.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably get a sponsorship from them.
Yeah, they do insurance, right?
I think they do.
Yeah. I think I actually
heard
have
that.
them as my insurance agent. I think I talked to some girl named Lexi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She knows her stuff.
She does know her stuff. She hooked me up. So, yeah, and I'm glad to have that insurance, by the way.
I'm telling you, she knows how to. She spends a lot of time working her relationships with the insurance underwriters.
Yeah.
When she needs something done, she knows exactly who to call, and everyone's scenario is different on what they need.
Yeah.
And so that's the nice thing about having lots of different insurance companies, because they all have different tastes for things that they need, that they like to do. And so she works very hard, and we all do, but on putting people where they should be.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, she's an excellent fit, for sure. Heck yeah. So, what's going on with birds? Are y'all going to come out and hang out with birds, and
That would be great.
are we going to do some flying out there? I'll bring the champ out, and we can come out and hang out.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Heck
I
yeah.
saw somebody just made an Instagram post of a fly-in this fall, right?
Yeah, the fall fly-in.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So
Sounds awesome.
it was awesome last year.
It was great last year.
Yeah.
A lot of flying.
Heck yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to you guys being there, and I'm looking forward to the season. Like,
Yep.
I'm really excited to see what's going to unfold for us, especially now that we've got a couple of new, or at least one new venue. We're going to be in Missouri. You're going to be at, what is it, the Pony Express STOL?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's close to home for y'all,
St.
right?
Joe. Yeah, that's pretty close. I mean, at least it's in Kansas.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it. First me hearing it. St. Joe, Kansas?
St. Joe, Missouri.
Oh.
Yep.
It is Missouri.
But it's on the other side of the board. It's right
It's
there.
right there on the line.
Sounds
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. So it sounds like we've got 1 minute left. So is there any shout outs you guys want to do? I mean, y'all are the illustrious Clemens family. Like, is there anyone you want to say hi to back at home?
No, hi, but shout out to MT Propeller, mainly McFarland Aviation, and Aviat Aircraft.
Okay. Heck
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Gotta get the sponsors in. And they make awesome products, all
They
of them.
do.
So, heck yeah.
That they do.
All right. Well, that was Austin and Jerry Clemens, and we're going to go to a commercial and come back.
Looking for a more affordable entry
How about
into
now?
bush plane flying? How about paramotoring, aka the dirt bike of the sky? Paramotoring STOL is the next
All right.
best thing, and this adventure motor that you wear
Thank
on
you,
your back
guys.
is your ticket to getting airborne quick. At Aviator Paramotor, our 2-week training takes you from zero to hero.
Sunrise this morning, it was beautiful. There was a thin layer of fog flying. It's just like all the stress and all that kind of just floats away. It's really peaceful.
From no experience to feeling confident and competent flying on your own. Let the team at Aviator Paramotor in Lake Wales, Florida, teach you your new superpower of running into the sky. Classes are filling up quick, but there are spots available today, so call now. Side effects include, but not limited to, significant life changes, foot drags, ear-to-ear smiles. Find the extreme freedoms of ripping around the skies in your new adventure motor with friends.
And we're back with National STOL at Sun and Fun, specifically in Paradise City. I am very lucky to be speaking with someone who has been involved with Sun and Fun with the STOL, not the STOL competition, but the STOL demos that have been happening out here. Sheldon, sir, Mr. Redbird himself.
Yeah, thanks for having me. been a blast so far, and we're only on day one.
Yeah, absolutely. But you have been here since, you've been to, I've seen you at every Sun and Fun STOL demo. How long have you been coming to the STOL demos?
I've been doing, with the exception of last year, I've been doing the STOL demos since they've been here.
Okay.
And then I've been coming to Sun and Fun myself for, this will be 29 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yep.
Yeah.
Started when I was 5-ish.
Yeah.
Kind of came into it that way, and just I've known a lot of the performers. Kind of got to camp out with my dad when I was younger, and
yeah,
just kind of went from there.
So when I met you, you were shooting photos out here.
Yes.
We were both shooting photos out here. It was
Yep.
my first time really being on the scene as an aviation photographer at a STOL competition, but you're well seasoned and published, right?
I've got a few published here and there, yeah.
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 So does flying airplanes help you as an aviation photographer?
Yes, it will, because you'll learn what they want, and then you can visualize it, and then when you get into their spot shooting back, you can kind of see what they were wanting, and that shapes how you do it. So I can be flying a subject aircraft for someone,
yeah,
and direct the shoot for the photographer being in the other spot.
Okay.
I can be flying it, and you just put yourself in his mindset, fly it from your side, and it makes it work a whole lot better when you know what to expect.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So tell us about your aircraft. Where are you flying?
Well, Redbird is a very yellow 750 STOL from Zenith. It's a 2010. He's a Cardinals fan. That's all I can gather from the original builder. And so, it's got 100 horsepower Rotax 912 ULS on it. It was bone stock when I got it, and no mods whatsoever. And then I went and put vortex generators on spots on the airplane that I had heard about from other guys that made it fly better, handle better. And then I did a couple things to it where I just took some things that I had learned just by virtue of reading a lot of books and scratching my head a little bit, drawing things out, and going, let me try this.
Yeah.
And then, I put a bigger rudder on it, which helps a lot, because the airplane now in its modified state can fly down the runway and ground effect at 22 miles an hour, whereas before you really couldn't do that below 30.
Okay.
So 8
That's
miles
a substantial difference.
And I can rotate the aircraft at 18 miles an hour, where before it was rotating at 25.
That's awesome.
So just little things like that. It's nothing that hasn't been done already.
Yeah.
Just not necessarily on that airframe.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I used to fly in a 182, so going from that to this is a whole nother ball game.
Yeah. Have you taken Redbird out to like any sandbars or?
I have taken it to a friend's pasture. It's basically about a 1,500 foot just field, and it's got horse barns all around it and whatnot, trees all in it. And
yeah.
Landed there and taken off back in there, and I've got a beach that I just figured out I could actually land on, so I'm going to be taking the airplane over to that when I get back home and taking it on its first sand runway trip.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's so are you going to Swamp STOL?
Yes, I will be at Swamp STOL.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because I'm going to go try to land on the beach over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, try to do that a little bit and show off because I haven't flown at a competition with anything other than the bigger rudder, so it'd be nice to actually put it to the test in an actual real world competition situation.
Yeah. Heck yeah. So I know your aircraft from all the R&D you've been doing on it, and I can't remember if it was 22 or it was 23 that you were going to hit the circuit, but you were running into issues mechanically, or there was something going on.
It was 20, I think the end of 22, 23. I had some issues with just the airplane, with the engine. We were having carb issues, nothing that doesn't normally happen to a Rotax. but we were still new to the airplane and trying to figure out who to go to, who to talk to, where to take it.
Yeah.
Could I take it? You know, that kind of thing. And so we finally got all that figured out. And it turns out that there's a guy that's about an hour away from me that is the Southeast's kind of road tax guru.
Okay.
And so we took it to him and got it all figured out, and now it's running like a top.
Man, yeah, I'm so happy to see you flying.
Yeah.
Like that was something I was really looking forward to throughout the season. Was we met, we were shooting photos together, and then you were on the competition circuit, and I just wanted to get photos of your airplane to be able to send to you and be like, hey man, like, this is it.
Well, and it's funny because I'm not only on the competition circuit anymore. I've done the air show circuit now with this aircraft. I'm not just doing competitions. I've flown our hometown beach show out at Pensacola Beach.
Okay, yeah.
Flying with the rest of all the guys that you see out here flying all week this week. And so they brought me into the fold, and now I'm starting to try to put that on my resume as well.
Yeah, so tell us about that event.
It was funny. They've been asking me to fly at my hometown show, but I had the 182. It just wasn't really, I wasn't feeling that airplane in that situation.
Yeah.
And then I got Redbird, and they were like, can you bring it out? I said, all right, if you really think it's worth it, I'll bring it out. And I did it for 2024, and it was a hit, so I'm going to try to do it as many times as they'll let me.
That's awesome.
You know, it's about a 10-minute, routine. And it's just showing the tight turn radius within the plus 30 and 60 degree banking pitch angles that we are allowed to do outside of being a carded air show performer.
Yeah.
So, I could show people what a real world aircraft this thing can be. And I actually never touch down because, of course, I have nowhere to land on the beach.
Yeah.
So just going by the crowd at 30 mile an hour, doing really tight turns within less than a width of a football field and stuff like that.
Man, that sounds awesome. It is a dream to be able to fly in an air show for me. So being able to do that in your own airplane and showcase the abilities
at
of
my
the Zenith.
hometown too.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And having the support of my family and friends and all that. So
heck
yeah.
Yeah. Is that the Blue Angels home show?
That's their beach show, their July show.
Okay.
I haven't yet gotten into the homecoming show. That's a hard show to get into.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving parts there. I know a lot of the people at our beach show, so it's a little easier to deal with that side of things. Maybe one day I'll get into the homecoming show, but if it doesn't happen, that's okay. I could technically go over there and static display it too if I wanted to.
Yeah. Heck yeah. So I've always wanted to ask you about your VGs, like what I remember on Facebook when I was on Facebook. I remember seeing you taking photos. You were doing video of the air, and you had the yarn, the strings of yarn on your airfoil on your wing to see what the air was doing. So I recently got VGs for my Champ, and I was surprised because everything's in the box. Like everything you need, you don't have to buy anything extra or anything. But what I wanted to ask you was, what were you doing since everything is in the box? Like, what specifically were you doing or trying to see? Since there's a guide for us to put the VGs on.
I must say, I sheepishly got to say, I did not use the guide at all. I used it as it's like when you watch Pirates of the Caribbean. It's more like guidelines than actual rules. Is what I was kind of going for. I was trying to, because where I was putting them on my tail, you normally see that on production aircraft, but you don't see that on a Zenith normally. Yeah. So I was the only one doing it. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go with what looks correct and looking back on some aerodynamic data and just put it on there, and we'll see what happens. If it doesn't work, these aren't glued on, they're taped on, so they can come right off. So I did that. I put VGs on my flaps.
Okay.
as well. That cleans up the air that goes to the tail as well. And I put VGs over to the top of my windscreen. That cleans up the air going to the vertical.
All right, yeah.
That's from other people that have done that part of it. And so, I put VGs on the bottom of the wing in front of the flaperon, aileron portion. That's designed to speed the air up going to the aileron portion of the flaperon and give you a little bit more control. That's kind of what I had in my head, and it did work. I wasn't sure if it was going to, but trial and error, moving them back and forth. And now, like I said, I went from taking off at 25 mile an hour to 18 mile an hour. I came in, going into land, from 100 feet the other day, I landed in 47.
Man, that is...
So that's a PB.
Yeah.
You can't beat it. I don't know if I'll ever get that again or not. It's all dependent on the winds and the temps
I was
and
about to
everything.
say, let's hope for some wind, and you'll be able to do that, if not better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I had to start putting tape on my tires because I'm going back looking at the GoPro footage, and I'm taking off in 9 rotations of a tire.
Oh man.
And that's because of the vortex generators and the end plates that I put on the tips of my horizontal stabilizers. So those things directed all that air, kept it all flowing, and so I'm using 100% of the air that's actually flowing over the tail as opposed to maybe 70% as I was before.
Okay. Man, I mean, like those numbers, like I know whenever I'm thinking about numbers and I hear like a difference that's plus or minus 10, like when you relate it as a non-aviator, like I'm a pilot, but when you're thinking about car speeds, like it's like, oh, okay, that's not too much difference, but like that's a substantial difference for a STOL aircraft, for a backcountry aircraft, for an airplane in general, especially with those mods being, I mean,
they're universal.
Depending on the wind too.
They're universal. Everybody can do it.
Yeah.
But it's like I had to go up. I had to go high. I started high.
Yeah.
I started safe. As we say, 3 mistakes high. Go up there, check it all out. Because if you're doing it up high where there's not a cushion, because this is all in ground effect here.
Yeah.
What you do, if you can do it out of ground effect and know that it's good, then you can go down low and get into that flow and try to do it safely down low.
Yeah.
And then you can start applying it to the landings.
Heck yeah.
So you come down, you get lower and lower and lower, and you don't actually touch down until you really feel until you really feel comfortable.
Okay. Yeah. Were you doing that with your air show routine as well? Like.
Yeah, I mean, I knew a lot of that. The airplane's is plus 6 Gs.
Okay.
Ultimate load minus 3. So I pulled that thing to plus 4.5 Gs, and it just goes, and it flies. I can do a 30-degree angle of bank turn at 4 Gs at 45 mile an hour, and I can do it in the width of just about a runway and a half out here. If you look at our grass runway out here,
yeah. I'm hoping that I have numbers like that. I won't in a champ, but I can always hope for numbers like that.
I mean, it takes me 15 seconds to do a full 360 with those numbers.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
So,
well, Sheldon,
a lot of fun.
Do you have any shout outs to anyone that you want to make?
Man, well, just, thanks for Zenith for making a great product.
Yeah.
Rotax for making a great product. My dad for allowing me to take the co-owned airplane and just do what I want to do with it, and him just look the other way and go, whatever,
Yeah.
As long as you don't break it, you're okay. So,
Heck
and I got just a bunch of supportive friends, family, the airshow community, giving me all kinds of safety tips and just, stuff I already knew, but reinforcing it. So, thanks to all those guys.
All right. Well, it was great talking to you, Sheldon.
Thanks, man. That was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to do it again. Hopefully we get to do this during the season.
Yes.
And look forward to seeing you perform, and look forward to seeing you fly today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
And thanks for answering my question.
I saw your pictures and I was like, I'm scared to do BGs now. I'm gonna have to do all this. Like, no. You can always call me anytime.
40 seconds. Okay. So the one
and welcome back to a special National STOL broadcast from Paradise City at Sun and Fun 2025. I am very lucky to have next to me Mr. Jughead Counsell. Sir, it is a pleasure to have you sitting next to me because you are such an awesome STOL announcer. You bring a lot to the table. And I'm not just using just general terms. I mean, like, seriously, like when you're there, like the tuxedo or the jacket is a nice touch. I love it.
Yeah, you got to go with the tails. I've been running that. It's kind of like my little trademark for over about 23, 24 years.
Yeah.
So it feels good to always put on the tails. But, you know, as much as I love the time that I spent behind the mic and the camera narrating National STOL, of course I enjoy flying with it more. I can't fly with the tails. They just don't work with the seat. If I could figure out how to get those things to contribute some lift and maybe give me a shorter takeoff roll, I'd do it. But I haven't been able to incorporate those.
Yeah. You might get stuck in the door as well when you're closing it, huh?
So, yeah.
Heck yeah. So today is going to be the first STOL demo at Sun and Fun for the week. It starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're going to be broadcasting it live, and you're going to be out there.
Absolutely. We will be, as George Strait says, chicken dancing on a hot tin roof and the stove. So we'll have the tails on. We'll be here. You know, and Cam, you understand this. You do a great job. I've watched your National STOL work, and it is always entertaining. I love having. We're fortunate with National STOL.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, Ryan's kind of holding down the fort.
Yeah.
But between Corey and you and in Moses Lake, my hometown event, you know, able to get up on the mic as well.
Yeah.
It's nice to kind of have a wide variety of talented, I'm going to use color commentators.
Yeah.
For the fans out there. And for me, it's always about, I try to put people in the seat of the airplane. I try to bring it down to a level that the layperson understands. It may not really understand all the intricacies about bush flying, about STOL flying, about airplanes, max performing the airplane. So it's always a real honor to get to be here. And Karen and everybody at National STOL, I've watched this circuit grow from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And it just keeps getting better and better. The production crew, the live production quality is incredible. I keep seeing the fans just filling up the flight lines at each event we go to.
Yeah.
And Cam, look at the list of stuff. You know, it used to be we had 4 or 5 events a year.
Yeah.
And now it truly is all the way across the United States, from Central Washington down here in Florida, Virginia, Pennsylvania, the Midwest,
Absolutely.
the swamps of Louisiana, the high prairies of Wyoming, and Oregon as well.
Yeah.
It is really growing. I love it.
Heck yeah, absolutely. And speaking of watching, so I was telling Tom when we were getting the trailer ready for the season of last month, I was telling him that
I know where this is going. That's never going to go away.
Yeah.
You're going to find that forever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The dust from Moses Lake.
Volcanic ash in
Oh,
Mount St.
my
Helens, May
goodness.
18th, 1980.
Man.
Till perpetuated.
So I wasn't there, but throughout the season during the broadcast, every time I sat down and put my hand like down, there's always like a handprint from the ash, like from me, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then when you feel it, like it's got a particular feel to it. Like it's not just like, you know, dusted off. Like it has like a residual, kind of like a graphite, like kind of lubricant.
Or ground pumice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a very abrasive pumice quality to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, and I was 12 years old, 6th grade when that mountain blew up.
Yeah.
And you know, we had 3 inches on our roof, and of course our farm. We spent weeks, you know, cleaning roads and everything. And so it was really cool to come back because I know there's still ash around.
Yeah.
But it's gotten to the point now where we have to dig down 2-3 inches in the soil to find it.
Okay.
And so they graded a great landing surface for us there, the Moses Lake Air Show Committee and Grant County International Airport. And of course they disturbed that ash layer down below.
But it was just, I think it was very appropriate for it. It reminded me of when we're out like at High Sierra flying out on the dry lake beds.
Yeah.
And it was fun. And I know the crowd loved it too. I can't wait to be back there because it is my hometown. It's where I soloed. My dad soloed, my brother soloed, all from within about a quarter mile of where we were competing.
Okay.
I mean, just back on the ramp.
Yeah.
And a lot of really neat aviation history there as well, Cam.
Yeah, yeah. Also, you did something very special during that competition. If I remember correctly, you switched aircraft.
Well, first I won my category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
And then, yes, Tegan, she has a beautiful, we call her Beige Betty. It's a 210 horsepower IO 360 Cessna 170. And of course, 97 Bravo, Dakota and I still run around with a stock 0300 engine.
Yeah.
We got a climb prop. We've got Sportsman STOL cuff.
Yeah.
We've got aerodynamic VGs, but it's still only 145 horse.
Okay, yeah.
Which you need horsepower to get off quickly.
Yeah, yep.
The lightweight of my airplane is handy for landing. But so Tegan and I, we fly for fun over in Western Washington out on the riverbeds. And we always give each other a bad time anyway. So we decided that she and I were going to swap airplanes. And that's the first time that she had flown 97 Bravo, first time I flew Betty Beige.
Okay.
And, the day before we were out bouncing through the sagebrush in the dry land country and landing up on the cliffs, just doing good old fun off-airport stuff. And we went out, and this time I won. This time I won. I know darn good and well, though, that you give her much practice in 97 Bravo, or if the wind puff was just right or wrong.
Yeah.
And there was 2 feet difference between her takeoff rolls. That's kind of where it led to me winning, because I knew I could beat her on the landing if I didn't scratch.
Yeah.
Because we both, I think, put it down within about 2-3 feet of the line. So, but that was just a lot of fun. And I think the crowd enjoyed it as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. I enjoyed it from the house. So I woke up real early in the morning in Arkansas and watched with my dad, and I mean we were eating it up. It was really awesome. That was a delightful surprise.
So, well, in Arkansas, I mean, obviously you're real close to head back out to Swamp STOL, and then up just to the corner, Oklahoma border. We got events there this year as well. So
for sure, I'll be out there. I might be competing at 1 or 2 of those events. We'll see. We'll see what happens with my champ. But I'll definitely be there for sure.
Well, we're definitely looking forward, Cam, to getting back to Moses Lake.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a little bit later in the year this year, and it sounds like the lineup at the show, we're going to be featured a little bit more, which will be great.
Yeah.
More folks in the crowd. Maybe a little more wind on the nose. Not a whole lot more. We don't really want a whole lot more than what we had.
Yeah.
And obviously looking real forward to going back down to Ontario, Oregon. They did such a great job hosting us. The town really rolled out the red carpet, and that was a lot of fun as well. So Oregon STOL, I'd like to go back, and I got second there. Jeff and the Beast is always a tough animal to beat.
Yeah.
And I've beat him in the past, and he's beat me. He's ahead right now in the win column, so I'd love to go back and maybe steal that first place trophy from Jeff and the Beast.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm pulling for you. I do want to say thank you, because it's kind of a full circle deal with me being here and talking to you right now. I first came across National STOL from the Central Florida Classic in 2020, watching the YouTube channel, watching the broadcast. You were hosting the event then, or if I remember correctly, you and Jeff. Was Jeff on the mic a little bit?
Jeff Pohl's been on the mic with me a few times, and that's what's really great about National STOL and just the whole STOL community.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody helps everybody out, and everyone has something that they can contribute in a little bit different way.
Yeah.
And so we've seen lots of people sit up here in front of the cameras and behind the mics, sharing their experiences.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have a variety of different people that the fans get to learn and hear from, and just get entertained by.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's really awesome, because like you were saying, I mean, having the different variety of people. But what's funny is I saw you on YouTube, and then the next year I saw you live. I was here on the field taking photos, and now we're all here. You're going to be doing the STOL demo tonight.
That's right, here at Paradise City. It's
Yeah.
7 o'clock at Sun and Fun, Lakeland, Florida. You got a couple hours, so if you're within a couple hundred miles, get in the car, load the kids up, grab some Kentucky Fried Chicken and a Dr. Pepper, and hit the road.
You said the best combination ever because,
heck yeah.
absolutely. I love some Dr. Pepper, and, of course, Kentucky Fried Chicken is delicious.
Yeah.
So I can't get around that. Yeah. What can we expect tonight? Like, is it going to be normal Jughead, or we're going to have some special treats? Is Dakota here?
Dakota is not here. Some of you may not know, Dakota's my 8-year-old black lab. He's flown about 700-800 hours in my 170 with me. Of course, he's my hunting partner, my play partner, and he's got quite the personality.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. His name actually means friend in the native Sioux language, and it fits him perfectly. But no, he is not here. He'll be at home pouting. And but what can we expect? Well, I'm looking, Cam, at the windsock right now, and one of the things that we always seem to get here at Sun and Fun is the wind is usually not straight down the runway by the time showtime.
Yeah.
It's usually a little bit of a crosswind coming from the south. It's usually rolling over the trees, giving the pilots a little bit of a challenge because you'll have a nice stable approach, and at about 30 feet, it's going to come out from underneath you. You're going to have to catch it. You're going to have to reset the AOA, reset the power to establish that glide path, and then work on hitting the line. Obviously, the runway here is great. It's a really forgiving. It's got a lot of sand in this St. Augustine grass. It's well marked. So once you get below 5 feet, it's pretty good again.
Yeah.
But that transition has bit a lot of pilots. But you never know. It's the first kind of event of the year.
Yep.
And even though it's a demonstration, quote unquote, ever since the second airplane was built and 2 airplanes flew at the same place, it's always been a competition. So I'm anxious to see what the new airplanes are going to bring, what the modifications to some of the old airplanes. We'll see who's been practicing lately and who hasn't, because that makes a difference. I've been to a STOL contest in Independence, Oregon, put on by the Experimental Aircraft Association, and there's a Super 170 that I compete against there quite a bit, and I've won twice and he's won once, and it boiled down to who had been practicing leading up to the contest. So we'll see. You got to put in the time. You know, Dan Reynolds is down here from the Yukon, getting out of of course, he's complaining that it's too warm here.
Yeah.
He's missing the snow and about minus 20-degree temps up home where he's comfortable. But, of course, the Chinook is always a crowd performer.
Absolutely.
Mr. Lang's got his new airplane here. He's got his old airplane here. I don't know which one he's going to fly. It's going to be exciting to see if that new one gets to go or whether he just literally flies a demo with it.
Yeah.
But there's some real competition for the very top unlimited performers in National STOL this year. Steve Henry's kind of obviously been at the top forever, but there's guys that have knocked him off, and there's going to be more guys able to knock him off, I think, in the future. So
yeah, that air bike is going to be really, really awesome to watch during the competition.
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, absolutely. Are you going to be flying at any competitions this year?
Usually when I come down to here, a lot of times I'll jump in Jeff Pohl's airplane. So if I'm not competing in my stock 170, I go compete in his Super 170.
Yep.
I've never beat him in his own airplane. However, at Yuma about 4 years ago, I got close enough. He was nervous. And now the only difference between our airplanes is he's got the big engine prop. We have the same wing, same gear legs, same tires. So everything's the same sight picture wise except the horsepower.
Okay.
And so I'm looking forward to a chance to fly that airplane again somewhere and see if I can't beat him in his own airplane. Oh, that would be so sweet. Because I don't know how many times I've got the hat that says I finished second to the Dirty Bird, and I'd love to give him one of those hats.
Yes, he definitely deserves to wear it.
And I'm looking forward to hopefully he gets out to Moses Lake and comes out, and I'd let him compete in 9-7 Bravo. I'd love to see him fly mine and compete as well.
Yeah,
So